What's up, everybody? You know what time it is. Friday night from the forum, and tonight we're talking keep, trade, cut. That's right, off-season disaster. Let's rock. What's up, everybody? Brian just came out the basement.
I'm the bottom, you know.
What's going on? NCAA tournament. I'm sad. My Hogs got beat by Arizona because they decided they couldn't shoot last night. Like 5 for 23 from the 3-point line. Man, Arizona shot like 64%. It was an absolute disaster. But we're not talking about that tonight. We're talking about keep, trade, cut. We're talking about Dynasty. It is the off season. It is draft shenanigans. I don't know about y'all, but my league's trades have been going off, and they always do leading up to the draft. So I'm pumped about it. Dan, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm excellent, bud. It's Friday night, and I'm here on Fantasy the Forum. Of course, I'm doing fantastic. Let's go, baby.
Joe, got a little guitar in the background. You gonna play something for us tonight?
Hell no, I'm just trying to be more like you, King.
I'm more interested in the bed you got in the background, buddy.
Hey, you know, one size fits most.
Oh my God. Well, look, we got a good one for you tonight. Again, we're going to be talking keep, trade, cuts, and sometimes that means it's, whether it be buy, sell, move off of, and it could be shifty. So we're going to start out with one that was an immediate chat. Which honestly, these three players, you're not cutting any of them, right? But it's almost ends up being more of a rank 1, 2, 3, or sometimes these things go, okay, who do I trade and get the most value out of without taking too much of a hit on my roster, right? So there's lots of ways to frame this. Also tonight, if you have questions, trade questions, drop them in the chat. You got your own KTC, drop it in the chat. We're here for a good time. So starting off, Brian, Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, and the highest paid wide receiver in the league right now, Jackson Smith-Njigba.
I thought you were saying DK Metcalf.
No. No. I know you're a Steelers hopeful that just like drained your bucket for nothing. But no, that's not what we're talking about. Chase, Puka, JSN. Brian, what do you think?
This honestly might be one of the easiest ones we do all night. So we're keep trading and cutting. We're going to keep Jamar Chase because he's at the top. That's where he's going to stay. Give me some Jamar Chase. We're keeping him. We're going to trade JSN because he just did become the highest paid wide receiver. This is probably going to be about peak value. Not to say it's going to go down anytime soon, but like this is the tippy top of the world for him right now. And I mean, does Puka Nacua just not make it easier for us to talk about cutting him right now? The Rams probably are, not really considering it. But, he's on that accelerated Antonio Brown program. It looks like he's trying to get there quicker than AB did. So I'm just going to make the easy cut with him just in this argument.
Listen, man, here's the thing, though. You want a wide receiver one. A lot of issues with wide receiver ones, they're all bark, no bite. Puka Nacua is the opposite of that. I think it really becomes a toss-up. I think the value-wise, it makes sense to have him as the cut, but I do have concerns about his longevity in the league. He is speed running chaotically in the way that he goes. He's made comments about wanting to retire at 28. He hasn't gotten the contract that if they're going to sign him, it's going to cost more than JSN. I think until he gets that contract, that's the time that you move off from him. I think you can't keep two in this situation, so because the de facto cut, but yeah, it's a weird vibe with him right now for sure.
Yeah, my wife doesn't even know who he is, but she asked me if he started watching reruns of Twilight, and I was like, I don't know. Anyway,
come on, man.
Dev in the chat. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Got big draft energy, bro. Thanks for coming out, hopping in. Hit that like button. We appreciate it. And Joe, he's asking you a question. Who's this year's Jayden Daniels that we're selling high on?
I think that it is JSN. I think that he had a very unique situation last year where he had essentially no target competition. If you look at the Seattle Seahawks, no one expected Sam Darnold to do what he did again. Not because he didn't do well in Minnesota, but the knock in Seattle last year was that they're going to have no offensive line. He's going to see the ghosts again. They're a run-first offense. The amount of targets that he got, is that sustainable? Maybe, even if they have more of a passing attack this season. But are they going to add in more weapons to that team? Probably. You're not going to see a situation where he ends up being kind of like the de facto only option that they have. Granted, he's fantastic at getting open, doing all of these things, but from the dynasty perspective, and this was something that Disco talked about last year with Jayden Daniels, is that you want to capitalize on emotion. You want to do things that maybe feel weird at the time, but in the same token, it's like if he struggles, if he gets hurt, if there's nowhere else that he's going to go, like more than where he's at right now, he's at the peak of dynasty value. He can't increase any further. Is that merited to some degree? Yes, he has the elite capital. He has a lot of the good metrics there, but in the same token, could he fall down a peg or two? You look at somebody like the Garrett Wilsons, the Nico Collins of the worlds that shot up the ranks, and now they're kind of sitting in that wide receiver 12 range. Could he become that as well? Potentially too. So you got to know if it's where you want to go with that. I think that I don't know if he can have a better season than he did last year.
Fair enough. It's tough for me. I'm not that. I don't know. Young gun. It's hard to sell Jason for me, but or at least call him a bust. Like I don't know if I could call him this year's or sell high. But, hey, everybody was saying that about Jayden Daniels too, so you never know. Big Draft Energy said, great wisdom, Joe. Great wisdom.
I would never fight that guy, mostly because he's 6'8". But
JB in the chat, what's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in.
It's not rare when I feel short, but next to Disco, that's for sure.
On the docket, and Dan, I know this one hits home for you a little bit. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Nico Collins.
Yeah, so this one, I'm keeping Nico. I'm trading Garrett Wilson, and I'm cutting Chris Olave. And the big thing is quarterback / talent / health kind of situations here going on. So with Nico Collins, I know he had a down year in 2025, but we're still talking about a guy who had a 14.7 points per game in 2024. I think he still has the most stable of the quarterbacks available. Tyler Shuck, I know, showed some things at the end of the season, but guess what? Lightning catches in a bottle once in a while. And I think that's exactly what Tyler Shuck caught last season. So I think there's a lot of question marks still for the Saints longevity-wise. Also, are they going to get a contract done with Chris Olave? I think that comes into play there too. For Nico, CJ Stroud is the best quarterback of the three. For Garrett Wilson, you're still talking about a huge target share. And Geno Smith, I mean, knock him all you want, but Geno Smith can get the ball to his number one target. And that's all he's going to be able to do. That's all he's going to be able to have. So I'm looking at this as like, Nico, I think he can get back to the efficiency levels because he's somebody who didn't need a ton of targets, right? He only had 114, and yet he was a top 12 wide receiver. We just need the efficiency to come on back. Chris Olave, between that and the concussion history, if he has another concussion, he can miss another few games. So that's the problem there.
Getting a little shout out from Big Draft Energy said, holy mackerel, those pipes.
You don't have the best podcast on the network by accident. You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
I
actually throw away with my pipes this past episode. So you guys might want to go check that out on Operation Domination.
Yeah. Dane in the chat, what's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Hit that like and sub button if you're new. And again, we're here for you guys. So if you have questions, you got a player that you're thinking of moving off of, or one that maybe you need to hold, drop in the chat. We'll give you opinions. Until then, we are cranking KTCs tonight. The next one is a bit of a beast. I guess I wouldn't say beast, maybe. T. Higgins, Rashee Rice, Tet McMillan. Joe, let us know.
Man, Well, I feel like you have to keep Tetairoa McMillan. You can't call him Tet. It's said in the chat to not call him Tet. But I think he has everything that you want except for Bryce Young, right? Bryce Young is just not what you want. He hasn't been able to show that he's able to support a wide receiver one in fantasy. And I said this last week, but I think that it's something that's really important when you're thinking about, especially in a redraft scenario, who you are going to pick up and say, hey, like, I feel good about this guy. There is a lot of information out there that will show, like, hey, like Joe Burrow has shown he can support a wide receiver one in Jamar Chase. There has been info that shows that Dak Prescott can support multiple wide receivers. Of all players, Sam Darnold has shown that he is able to support a wide receiver one. Bryce Young has not been able to show that. We have seen that in spurts with Nico Collins, but he has the injury issue, so we haven't seen it for the full season. We have not seen that from Bryce Young for anybody that he's had. We have had players that have had good games. You look at that span 2 years ago with Adam Thielen turning back the clocks, and we're like, hey, like, maybe I can go out there and do something great too. Like, if Adam Thielen can do it, who can't? But with the draft capital that Tetairoa got, he was somebody that dominated as early as his freshman year at college and almost had a little bit of draft fatigue when you got to the rookie drafts last year. He's somebody that's going to be at the top of the list for me. Now, this is going to be a bit controversial here. T. Higgins is somebody that I think is vastly overrated in fantasy football, and it's because of the fact that he has a lot of bust games. If you look at the number of times that he scores 5 or less points, it's a lot larger than what you would expect for somebody that plays on a team that has absolutely no concept of what the word defense means, right? So for me, T. Higgins is actually my cut. Rashee Rice, yes, he kind of has like the legal stuff going on. We don't know if he's going to get suspended into this year, but we know that he's still tied to Patrick Mahomes, and that's going to carry a lot of weight. Xavier Worthy hasn't been able to take that step. Travis Kelce is on a 3-year deal, which is a lot of words to say I have a 1-year deal and I'm married to a billionaire, and I want you to feel good about yourself. So for me, it's like, all right, keep Tetairoa McMillan, trade Rashee Rice, cut T. Higgins.
Is there any difference opinion on that?
Yeah, I do. I'm keeping Rashee Rice. I know everything is going on off the field right now, but the fact of the matter is he's the only one of these 3 that can actually be a top 8 fantasy football wide receiver when on the field. Last year in 8 games, he had 121 fantasy points, 15.2 fantasy points per game. I'm not giving that up, but I will trade Tetairoa McMillan to what you just laid out. Bryce Young's his quarterback. I don't trust that situation to be sustainable year over year. And even last year, even though he had great, fantastic rookie season 4 rookie seasons ago, it was still wildly inconsistent from week to week because you had to deal with the fluctuation that was the quarterback situation. T. Higgins is the guy I'm cutting. There's too many games where he's injured. I've already linked him to Mike Williams. I don't think there's a difference between those two. Quite frankly, there really should be wide receiver 3s with touchdown upside and nothing more. But I'm keeping Rashee Rice and trading Tetairoa McMillan.
All right. Got big draft energy in the chat. Taylor Swift's cat has a higher grossing net worth than Travis Kelce.
That's real.
That's tough.
So,
he said, is that a new office?
This is the Love Shack, actually. No, I'm in Pittsburgh right now.
Yeah, you put quarters in the bed.
Yeah, it's more of like a Mormon soak situation. You just like,
okay, too much. Rewind. Okay, now we're going again. Brian, Big Draft Energy said, what are you doing with Brian Thomas Jr.? So I'm going to drop our next KTC in here, which happens to have BTJ in it, along with some other, people that are wondering what's going to happen. We got Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze, and Brian Thomas Jr.
Well, funny enough, I guess obviously none of y'all would know, but at the most recent Brian convention, we actually banned him. He has to go to the Brian with a Y convention now. He doesn't get to hang out with the Brian with the I's. It's exclusive club, and BTJ, you're not in it right now, buddy. And oh man, right now you're not in my club at all. I think I'm going to, like, just looking at the 3 players, I think Rome Odunze might have the highest value, so I think he's going to go with my trade. Again, I think you're kind of splitting hairs with all 3 of them. I think you could have an argument for all 3 of these guys having ultimately the highest ceiling, but Rome, he's with the Bears. They just lost DJ Moore, Ben Johnson this, Ben Johnson that. There's so many great reasons why you could go on that. So I'm going to go with the highest values, probably with Rome in the average league. So I'm going to trade him. I'm going to keep Marvin Harrison Jr., and I'm going to cut Brian Thomas Jr., the other junior. Look, Marv, you got another year of Brissett. It might not be your year, but next year, 2027, that might, I don't know. Like his ADP, he's going around wide receiver 30 right now. You're telling me we're not excited about Marvin Harrison this year? I haven't been in on him the last 2 years, so it's like my turn. Now it's like, all right, is this the year I can be excited for him? And I might be buying into the hype. I'm still not sure. Draft location with a lot of these players is going to feed into it, but I don't know. I got a sneaking inkling that like maybe we can get some return here. Maybe we can get a top 24 player outside of the top 30.
I'm curious the crowd on this one. Dan's up there like halfway grimacing, and Joe's like moving his glasses down and then back up his nose. So there might be some different thoughts here. Let it out, fellas. What are you thinking?
First of all, Jacoby Brissett, what he did is not sustainable from year to year. Absolutely not. And then when you take Mike LaFleur and Nathaniel Hackett, two of the most overrated quote unquote offensive minds that you could possibly put in a combination together, I'm not so sure about that. And then you have Michael Wilson, who made a name for himself. Like, can you completely ignore him now? And I don't know that you can. So Marvin Harrison's the guy I'm trying to trade away. Everyone's down on Brian Thomas Jr. He's not going to have as much value as Marvin Harrison is at this point, because right now the narrative is that Brian Thomas Jr. with Trevor Lawrence, fantasy-wise, doesn't work. I don't know if I totally believe that, but that's what the value is at the moment. Odunze, of the three, was the best efficiency-wise with a 2.82 points per touch last season. So best efficiency, got rid of DJ Moore. Hopefully he's a little bit more healthy. Second year now, Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. I mean, things are stacking up in his favor to be paired up with Luther Burden and Colson Loveland and have that trio with that offense that we know is good and know has a good scheme to produce this upcomome season. So I'm keeping Odunze, I'm trading Marvin Harrison, and I'm cutting Brian Thomas.
I just want to give a shout out to my boy Joe Blacko. He's been here the last couple of weeks, and he always rides with me because Joe's stick together. I think it's really interesting with the Chicago situation, right? So I just went on this rant about quarterbacks that can support wide receiver one play. Caleb Williams basically had 60-ish receptions for everybody that touched the ball in Chicago last year. I don't think that he is going to be like, oh, well, DJ Moore's gone. Now I'm just going to hyper target Rome, or I'm going to hyper target Luther Burden. I want to trade every Chicago Bear player that I can this offseason, because I think that they are not going to model the Detroit kind of pathway of like Amon-Ra is going to get his and everybody else gets everything. I think it's going to be a very balanced offense, which Caleb is going to say, hey, here's the guy that I need to throw to. Let's make it happen. Of course,
so my argument on that.
Go ahead.
I just want to say my argument on that is Odunze may only touched 45 of the targets, but that's because that's all he was able to catch. He got 90 targets. 90 targets, only 44 catches. So I'm not saying he even needs a bigger target share. He just needs to catch more. We just need better play from Caleb Williams. That's all we're looking for. Just a little better play, Caleb.
It's a slimmer distribution, no matter what. Even if he doesn't hyper target Rome Odunze, you take away DJ Moore, they're not bringing in another weapon, is more my point. You go from 4 to 3, and if you evenly distribute between all those guys in an offense that could be very efficient. So when you have a good offense with multiple weapons, you have higher scoring opportunities, and it all works into efficiency. Now I need Rome Odunze to get 115 targets, not 140, to produce out, a top 15 plus type of wide receiver.
I just think that those are kind of situations that it's like good for best ball, but like on a week to week basis, like you're going to have a lot of weeks where it doesn't work out. And for me, it's like whore for a high floor. I don't feel that with anybody in Chicago.
Brandon Ayuk, Nico Collins both did it. So I don't know. I don't know how much Roman is different from those guys.
And I may not be fighting for his floor. I'm just fighting for his ceiling. I think this is an offense that could easily be top 8, if not top 5 in offensive production as far as points. And I want a piece of that. I think you have a higher chance of that just with the touchdown volatility. I guess that's what I'm banking on when I'm going after the Bears players.
But if somebody is chasing that and I can trade him and get something more consistent, give me that all day. because I don't think that he's going to get to that level of consistency. I think he's going to have some super sick weeks. I mean, if you look at the first 4 weeks of this past season, he balled out top 5 wide receiver fantasy wise. And then it just kind of, part of it was injury related. But to me, it's like it's a sell high. Like he's never going to be the hyper targeted, especially now that everybody plays in a PPR format. You get a couple screens and it's going to do more than one of his catches that he's going to have.
Well, no,
Joe said in the chat, Rome has the best trade value. I'll give you that. I agree. And so, like, if I'm trying to amass the most value, that's probably who I'm moving based on that narrative that that Brian's talking about. And so, that's great. BTJ and Marvin Harrison Jr. have both been buy lows for me. Like I've been trying to get them in the offseason. They're both still very young, lots of football left in them. I've been trying to get them on the low, and I have been able to get them for like even like mid-second round picks or like different price points like that. A veteran running back that I know it's not going to play for me anymore. In the KTC, I think Rome gets you the most value. BTJ's season looks a lot different without all the drops. It's who said it in the chat. He said BTJ had got the yips. It was a rough season.
And then he had the yips. His best friend died. Like there was just a lot of stuff that went wrong for him. I just can't figure out where it went wrong for like Marv is the biggest question mark out of the 3 for me.
Well, Dev said he'll never quit Marv.
Yeah, but Dev's the goat. Like I can't how do I even argue with that? Like I love Dev. Like I'm not even gonna say anything because I can't.
I can. Dev, you rock, buddy.
Look, we appreciate y'all. Keep dropping the questions in the chat. Keep lighting it up. We appreciate you tuning in. Dev said not even if there's a fire. Just for knowledge, apparently, according to Big Draft Energy, Olivia Benson, the cat, which is Taylor Swift's cat, is apparently worth $97 million, and Travis Kelce is apparently worth $90 million, which is a really crazy stat to share here on the show. But for you, Big Draft Energy, thank you for that wonderful factoid.
You think that's on fantasycatsdata.com?
I'm sure.
I don't know the answer to that.
They got to be taking that thing out to stud, right? Come on, a cat worth that much?
I'm gonna tell you, if I got a cat worth $97 million, that sucker's on eBay tomorrow.
I don't think that's how net worth works.
I'm just saying, I do not care. That cat is gone. Whoever's willing to give me half of that.
Tyler just said, keep trade cat. Like, let's go.
All right. Easy beat 3242 in the chat said 12-man Dynasty Superflex tight end premium was offered McBride for the 26-104 and 1.09.
Wait,
what?
So that means that he was offered McBride for those things? Get off the show, accept the trade, love your life. If you're giving away McBride, I'm glad that you asked.
Hit decline.
Have like 12 of these and put the phone down for the night and don't accept the trade.
I mean, okay, so
cats are the best.
Let's kind of take this into the next KTC because I think that it's close, right? Or it brings up a fact to look alongside this trade. So the next KTC is 2026 draft pick 1.08, which is projected Kenyon Sadiq. Or let's say we take that up because it's a tight end premium. They're going really early. It's 1.04 is Sadiq. So, okay, hear me out here. If you have the chance to trade McBride and get Sadiq and like a Makai Lemon or, and is it worth it, or are you like flush the rookies, bump that, I want McBride hands down?
Well, hold on. Easy B said he's getting McBride, so like please stop whatever you're doing and go accept that.
get off the stream. You can hop back on in 3 minutes after you hit accept. Just go do it.
You can do both at the same time.
We'll probably still be talking about Taylor Swift's cat, so like, don't worry about missing anything important.
What's the cat's name again?
So okay. So the KTC is 1.08 Sam Laporta or Kyle Pitts, but as we go into that, you're still a 1-4 where you get like let's say you get a top 2 running back or a top 3 wide receiver, you get the top tight end, and then a 1-8. So you're still going to get probably a top 4 wide receiver at 1-9. So you're probably getting a top 4 wide receiver in the draft, or potentially a top 3 quarterback. Well, it's super flex. So no, you're actually probably getting everything moves up. You're probably getting a top 2 running back, top 3 wide receiver, top 2 tight end.
Well, 12 GM said that you would be getting Ty Simpson.
That's just rude. That's just rude.
All right. I can't even mess with y'all anymore.
If next year's class, then yes. But this year's class, no.
Here's the thing. So 1-4 is Tyson, right? Question mark. Sadiq, better than Tyson? Question mark. So we're talking about like really and truly in this trade, you could come out with Tyson and Sadiq. Would you trade McBride for that?
No. Absolutely not. Not a tight end premium. So with Sadiq, the problem with Sadiq that he has is that he does not, in my opinion, have a profile that's going to hit in the first year. Yes, he's one hell of an athlete, but there's a lot of raw aspects to his game that he's going to have to develop before we get into him actually producing on anything that's near that kind of a level. And he screams Kyle Pitts too. So he's going to have to go into a situation where they're willing to actually use him for what he is, which is a move tight end. If he winds up in kind of like Pitts' situation where he gets a coach who wants to only play a tight end as a true inline tight end, he's going to get completely screwed. So there's a lot of volatility that comes in with Sadiq. And even if it's Tyson or Tate or Lemon or Denzel Boston or whoever the hell is in your top 3 as far as that pick is going to be concerned, none of these wide receivers profile out to be a true wide receiver 1 at the next level. Very good wide receiver 2s, but not a wide receiver 1. So you're tight end premium. You have Trey McBride, who's going to be a top 2 tight end along with Brock Bowers for the next 5 years, most likely. There's no way I'm making that deal.
Fair enough. By the way, if you're tuned in, we got 14 people watching right now. Hit the like button, support the show. Let's get more people in here and drop your questions in the chat. We're loving the interaction. Big Draft Energy said he is one of the most refined tacticians as a route runner that we have seen at the position in a really long time. Respectfully, radio voice, God, I disagree.
So what do you guys think about Sadiq's lack of what do you think about Sadiq's lack of production in college?
That's one of the big thing with this.
Yeah.
Shut up. You were Anthony Richardson trained, lack of production in college.
He's on my team. I gotta be pushing for my boy. And he, as a starter, he's like 8-7. So like, come on, he's got more wins than Will Howard. So
he's like right above Howard.
Whoa. Why is Power Bottom Will Howard catching strays right now?
Well, because I know somebody was all over Will Howard last summer. So I gotta toss him.
Well, let's see if it pans out. Let's see if it pans out. No, who's gonna start week 1, Joe?
Aaron Rodgers, come on. What are we doing here? We're all Cole's just like dancing and acting like nothing's going to happen. And Aaron Rodgers is going to swoop in and be like, hey, I still got it. And then Mike McCarthy be like, yeah, I'm from Pittsburgh. You should do this. And it's like, no, like Aaron Rodgers, you were still terrible last year. Why are we doing this again? But then they will because we don't care. We just want to try our best or whatever it is that we do.
Big Draft Energy said, great pushback, Tyler. Always throw Anthony Richardson. Look, at this point, I promise – Brian, handshake. We're done. I will lay Anthony Richardson to rest.
He's 23. We're not done, baby. He's got his Super Bowl eyed, waiting for that new team. We're gonna table this for 3 more years. Come back at me in 2029.
Yeah, let's get back to the subject at hand. So Sadiq, he really didn't have any college production. One of the biggest things about drafting Loveland over Warren for me last year was Warren had a great final year at Penn State, but he didn't really do anything before that, and that scared me. And it was like, yes, like there were a lot of good tight ends at Penn State that preceded him that prevented him from getting on the field. But Sadiq, there was no reason that he couldn't have done more this year or the year before. So it's just like, what was stopping him from that? If he was so great, why was he not more of a focal point of that offense?
Well,
and I don't have an answer to that.
Here's the thing with Sadiq. You're going to fall in love with him as an athlete. And he crossers, seam routes, he's going to get separation because he's a major mismatch when he gets this lineup as a tight end, gets on that linebacker or that safety. But he's not very good at sinking his hips. He's not as good of a route runner as Kyle Pitts was coming out of college when you're talking about in and out breaks along the 5-10 yard line mark, which is what you're going to need to do as a tight end on a more consistent basis next level. So we agree to disagree, but I don't see him as a fantastic route runner tactician.
Okay. So let's pivot that because the KTC is the 1.8 projected Kenyon Sadiq, Sam Laporta, and Kyle Pitts.
Wait, you said that's the keep trade cut?
Yeah.
It's impossible to trade that draft pick because the attitude around fantasy right now is that this draft class sucks. So like anything that's below the 106, like no one's even going to consider. You might as well be trading Anthony Richardson.
I think you could get either one of these guys for the 1.8. I think I could trade the 1.8 tomorrow and get Laporta or Kyle Pitts.
If that is the case, I have the 1.7 and the 1.10, and I will go get both of these guys right now.
You can. I promise you.
I will do that. I'm going to get off the show, and I'm going to go do that.
No, if you're just looking at what trade values are right now, Tyler's absolutely 100% correct. You could absolutely trade the 107 and 110 and come back with a Sam Laporta or a Kyle Pitts in particular. Right now, actually, of these three, and this isn't me, this is looking at consensus at the moment, Kyle Pitts actually has the least amount of value of these three as of right now. Just again, going off a keep trade cut data statistics at the moment. Sam Laporta would be rated the highest, and the 108 would be rated second as far as total value goes.
Yeah, I mean, I would want Laporta the most. Kyle Pitts is going to score 6 touchdowns this upcoming season because
he scores 7 next year. You got to remember that.
Yeah, and then 8th year after that because that's what he does. He adds 1 into his bag every season.
It's 21 touchdowns over the next 3 seasons. That sounds like money from the tight end position.
Okay, I'm going to throw our next one in. All right. This is what happens. Free agency happens. Players move around the league, and then players who were once dead, narratives are revived. So the next KTC is a quarterback controversy. Okay, Kyler Murray, Daniel Jones, Malik Willis.
Oh, this is mine. That's hilarious.
So I can't answer the cut. Like I feel like that one's pretty easy.
That's quarterback 22, 23, 24 right now, and they're all.
We can also add in Geno. We can add in Geno for the sake of big draft energy. So we go Kyler, Danny Dimes, Malik, and Geno.
Yeah. So for me, it's easy. Keep Kyler Murray as far as out of this group goes. He's falling into the wet dream situation of any quarterback out there. You're going to get Justin Jefferson and KOC, and I don't think they're trading Jordan Addison. The running backs will be there. Everything. It's 100% Kyler Murray. Like I am not a Kyler Murray fan. Let's be clear. His shortness is a problem in the red zone. I've been screaming that from the rooftop for years and years and years, and people always want to argue me because they want to boost up Kyler Murray because he can't boost himself up because he's too short. But
this is a crazy rant. This is a crazy rant, but keep going.
Oh, he's got stiff sheets about Kyler. You can feel it.
But at the same time, we are talking about a quarterback who will rush over 500 yards. We are talking about a quarterback who throws a better accurate ball than J.J. McCarthy does. We are talking about KOC, who I still believe in as an offensive guru. So for me, Kyler Murray winds up in a situation where he almost can't fail. Like, what's his base floor? Quarterback 12 minimum, depending on how we run. I'm taller than Kyler Murray, by the way.
Is that what you're laughing about, Brian?
Yes.
And then I'm cutting Malik Willis and I'm trading Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones boosted his value up a little bit from last season. He does have the 2-year contract, so he can probably get himself going, and he'll probably still be the Colts quarterback heading into next year. There's no guarantee Malik Willis is around heading into next season. I know he signed like a decent kind of contract, but it's not one that he has to absolutely start. The Dolphins are no doubt going to be at least in the top 5 picks, if not the 101, with a better quarterback class next year. They're drafting a franchise guy next season. So Malik Willis is the one and done.
Kyler Murray is head and shoulders above these guys, says Go Yachty.
Yeah, be sitting on my shoulders.
Oh my God. So any other viewpoints?
Nah, I echo everything Dan said.
I do think it's interesting. Could you get more with Willis because of the injury to Daniel Jones?
Right now, no.
I don't think people want to buy into that. Like this team looks like a dumpster fire at this point. Like Devon Etienne, I think his ceiling is probably running back 6, running back 7. Like that's his absolute ceiling. I do not think we're going to get the consistency that we saw from him last year, and I think that's where his big disappointment is going to come in this season.
Fair enough. All right, so we're going to stick in quarterback controversy. Okay, we're going to stick in quarterback controversy, and well, real quick, let me make sure I hit. Big Draft Energy's chat there. Let's see here. He said Dolphins have 2 first-round picks. Sure, wide receiver is an option. Would you rather have Lemon, Tyson, or Waddle?
Waddle. Not even a question in my mind.
There you go. All right. Drake Maye, Jayden Daniels, Jackson Dart. Brian, you've got the mic. What's up?
Oh, no, this is my question. I want to hear their input.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I know how I feel about this.
Step. You want to, Joe? You want me to go first?
I'll go. So I'm just looking through the list because it's like it's interesting if you would have asked this at this time last year. It's like Jayden Daniels forever. Like da-da-da-da-da.
Unless you're Big Draft Energy.
Unless you're Big Draft Energy, which if you are into like best ball content, like that guy is the king of best ball stuff. He puts in a lot of work throughout the season. He's really good from a dynasty perspective of just like taking out the emotions of the game. So if you're looking for a good follow of just somebody that knows ball and just doesn't let the emotions get the best of him, that's my dog right there. But I think looking at this situation, Drake Maye is in almost the territory that Jayden Daniels was in last year. He can't do any wrong. He goes to like a basketball game and like, look at him. He's so cool. He's in a white t-shirt, just vibing. And it's like, okay, bro. You know? And it's like, he has gone so high up the ranks. People are saying to take him over Josh Allen, who has done nothing but finish in the top 3 of quarterbacks for the last 6 years. Yes, Drake Maye was a consistent quarterback 1 last year, but he didn't necessarily have top quarterback performances. He stayed healthy. He did enough to be like a useful option, but we didn't see top 6 quarterback performances from Drake Maye very often last year. If we look at what's going on in future year and for this year, he's going to have a much tougher schedule. They haven't necessarily addressed the wide receiver position yet for him. And we know that the New England Patriots are going to be a run-first team. Ramondre's not going anywhere. Trayvon's not going anywhere. To me, oh my God, with the Creed reference right there. Good times, by the way. But to me, it's like Drake Maye is in the exact same situation that Jayden Daniels was in last year. I would want to trade him and see what I can get back. You can get either one of those 2 guys that's in the list plus something else, and they all offer the same upside. If you're looking for upside from the quarterback position, you're looking for players that are in a good offense. All 3 of them, you could argue, are kind of there. They offer the rushing upside, which is something that's going to be important. And what else can they do with it? To be determined. But I think that for me, Drake Maye is the easiest sell. I think that I want to keep Jayden Daniels just because he has a slightly higher rushing profile. We've seen him have that kind of ability to take over games that we haven't seen from Drake Maye necessarily. And Jackson Dart, I mean, the New York Giants, like they just got some boys that are just in the CTE squad. that concerns me. So just like, let me get on up out of that. So we'll see what happens with it. Brandon Baller is my big dog out there. He's probably going to hate me for that take, but I think I keep Jayden Daniels. I trade Drake Maye, and then I'm going to cut Jackson Dart.
We agree on cutting Jackson Dart 100%. Completely disagree on who we're keeping and who we're trading. I'm definitely keeping Drake Maye. So this guy was damn near MVP and had a Stephon Diggs on a one leg, like without weapons. Over 4,000 yards last season, 31 passing touchdowns, over 450 rushing yards. Drake Maye is the closest thing that we have to a Josh Allen. And there's a reason why Josh Allen is quarterback one year after year after year. And in spite of the fact that the guy never really has that many weapons to begin with, it's because he's going to get you the rushing touchdowns, but he also has the potential to get you over the 4,000 yard mark and over the 30 touchdown mark on top of it. That's the kind of floor that we're talking about with Drake Maye. And we haven't even seen him with a good weapon yet. Jayden Daniels is absolutely who I'm trading away. First of all, his rushing prowess and his production, you're still going to get top-notch quarterback value for him in trade, even if it's not as much as Drake Maye at this moment. But Jayden, like, he missed games last year because he got hurt. The whole knock I had on him coming out, I'm like, dude, he's skinny like RG3. He's skinny like RG3. He's skinny like RG3. He's gonna get injured. He doesn't know how to slide. He doesn't know how to protect himself. That goes back to LSU, and it reared its ugly head again last season. The Commanders are heading in the wrong direction too, by the way. So the Patriots offense to me has nowhere to go but up, just given talent wise, even if it's not necessarily production. But Drake Maye, with the combination that he has between passing and rushing, what he can give you, there's no way I'm giving up a guy who legit could be quarterback one multiple times in his career.
But like, if he's quarterback one because he was on the field for all of the games, but never actually had a quarterback one performance, like, do I really care about that? I don't.
They're going to come. He's only in year 2 of his career.
No, sure. But it's like, if you look at the season, I forget the numbers, but it was like he was a quarterback, like top 12 quarterback, I think 70% of the time, which was great. But the number of times that he was a top 6 quarterback was very few and far between.
So
that
like
was go ahead, bro.
That was going to be my argument there with it, is like, you look at it. So Jackson Dart played 3 less games than Drake Maye. That includes 2 games in which he recorded 4 and 5% of snaps. With those games included, Jackson Dart still finished as a top 6 quarterback at a higher rate than Drake Maye did. And that's what I'm looking at. Like, it's weird to say that Drake Maye is a safe quarterback because he does have a high upside. He was 70% of his games, he was a top 12 quarterback. That was best in the NFL. That's great. But if I'm looking for that top end, that's what Jackson Dart can give you over Drake Maye. I think he can give you a higher overall finish. I think Jayden Daniels also gives you a higher overall finish. Jayden Daniels would be my keep, and trade or cut is going to be depending on what kind of league are you in. Are you in that crayon eating league? Then you can probably get more for Jackson Dart than Drake Maye. But for the most account, I'm going to trade Drake Maye and drop Dart. But like, if I'm picking out a Dart and Maye, I think I want Dart right now. Just like, if I can trade one Maye a little bit higher and keep the other, I think Dart has a higher overall ceiling regularly than Drake Maye does. He had no weapons either.
Coordinator. You have fun with that coordinator.
He actually has a good weapon on his team too. He has Malik Neighbors. Have you seen the Patriots draft quarterback or wide receivers? They have never been good at that, ever, even pre and post Bill Belichick. So like, I'm not worried about them actually getting a good weapon. I think the Giants have a better offensive line. Like, I like Dart's situation better for 2026.
Have fun with Matt Nagy. And then what happens when the Patriots trade for A.J. Brown, which is a real possibility, especially with Mike Vrabel there pushing
A.J. Brown, is he done?
No.
Is he done from his elite days?
No. Thank you, Kevin Patullo, for putting that into the debate atmosphere, but that's all them.
So Dan's obviously on the fence of buying A.J. Brown for cheap this year, which you can do.
Well, he's making that argument from up high. I'm down at the bottom. I'm pushing this argument down there. That's where I'm building the power from.
Look, it's one really like, and this is the hard thing with these KTCs is like nobody's actually dropping or any of these guys, right? But it is a real conversation in value, right? So if like you have 2 of these in a 1 quarterback league or something, you need to move one. the idea of like who's going to bring the most value, who has the most longevity or possibility for their career. It's all significant things. So love the points, guys. We're going to actually move to the next KTC, which is a little bit of some low tier, mid tier players. Or pick. So you got the 112, Jordan Addison, Ricky Pearsall.
Are they racing or is this for football related?
This is oh my God. You got the
Hey, Ricky moves at the fast of a speeding bullet. Or no, wait, I got that wrong.
well, bullet moves through Ricky.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
I always get that joke wrong.
112, Jordan Addison, Ricky Pearsall. Dan, you're a 49ers fan. I know you've got you got a little bit of love for Pearsall. What's your thoughts?
I can tell you right now, I'm cutting Pearsall out of this list.
Wow.
Well, so
Daniel.
here's the thing that's what's going. First of all, I'm trading Jordan Addison because he's a wild card right now, but he still has wide receiver 2 type of value. So I'm going to go ahead and trade him. I'm going to keep the 110, whether I can shop for it. I like Denzel Boston. I like some Casey Concepcion. I like some of the wide receivers that might be hanging around when we get to that level. I like even Sadiq if he were to be there.
So it's the 112 in the chat.
I'm sorry.
It shifted down just a little bit. I thought the 110 was a little early for the value. So we go 112. Last pick essentially in the first round.
Yeah, I still would have the order that I have it, and even for the 112 and take the back end. Whichever one of those top 5 receivers that I have in their own tier, one of those probably falls to the 112. I'm going to take one of those guys and then go ahead and deal with the rest. So here's the issue going on with Ricky Pearsall right now, and he could totally redeem himself. But when you add in a Mike Evans, who's now going to, at the very least, be the red zone guy and probably be the top target, but at the very least be the red zone guy of the two, the 49ers are in a situation where they very well might draft another wide receiver in the first round. In fact, a lot of the moves they made in free agency would indicate to me that they did not want to be put in a spot to have to target any one position with that first round pick. They're going to take best player available, which very well could easily be either Denzel Boston or Casey Concepcion in that system. So if you draft another wide receiver with Pearsall turning 26 already, and we haven't seen the breakout season. He's been injury prone since Florida. There's a lot of things hindering on Ricky Pearsall right now that if he doesn't get right, they're going to be moving on, at least from the idea of him being one of their staple complementary wide receivers. And it's already an offense that depends on him being efficient because he's never, ever, ever, ever going to be a target volume hog. Nobody ever is in that offense. It's not what it's designed to do. So Jordan Addison, I think, gets you actually more value right now because I think a lot of people are super down on Ricky Pearsall, and I'm keeping that draft pick.
I would flip the draft pick in Jordan Addison only because do y'all think that Jordan Addison will stay for a second contract in Minnesota? I don't think that he will.
If he doesn't get traded before the draft, I think he gets extended.
Interesting. I think that he becomes like one of those like really hyped like free agents, like, hey, like he could be the wide receiver 1 somewhere else, but it never amounts to that. So it's like I would keep him knowing that I would trade him later.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
My counterpoint on Ricky, you bring up him being a Florida Gator. Alligators are dinosaurs. They live on forever. So my age isn't concerned with Ricky at all. I'm cool with that. Ricky! Who doesn't love that? Come on. Come on.
You are nuts.
And while you're pulling up the next thing, I do want to say that Disco has been very early and often on Zachariah Smith. So that's definitely his guy for the year. So he's pretty much been the first guy on him, in my opinion, and what I see in the fantasy community, other than getting compromised for voting for your friends in a Google poll. But yeah, he's definitely been on that train for a while.
All right. So next KTC. Kyren Williams, Travis Etienne.
Wait, who?
Chase Brown.
Yeah, isn't it Etienne?
Yeah, I'm not French. I can't say it the way he says it, unfortunately.
Yeah. People from New Orleans can't say it like the French people say it either.
I mean, yeah, they can't say quesadilla down there.
Yeah.
So
I'm
like,
just
you would make fun of them too.
gonna say what we've been saying for like the last however many years, and forgo that he tried to, step it up in the pronunciation of his last. No, respect, man. Sorry, I mispronounced it, but
no, Tyler. Listen, we're all joking here. I went on a whole rant about this on my show. Say your last name the way it's spelled. Don't make it up after you've already been in the league for X amount of years and then try to tell everybody you're wrong. Remember when Tyrod said it was Tyrod? He was like, just kidding, it was Tyrod. Yeah, no, we're not doing this playing this game. You're Etienne.
And what happened to him? He got his lung punctured. You got to be careful in the streets.
oh my god.
Yeah, and it's Kyren Will.I.am, not Williams. It's weird too.
Okay.
Now it's time to get funky.
So what he's big draft energy. Why did his brother make a fuss about it? 'Cause his brother's still trying to make it.
He's just happy they say his name.
Yeah, he's just like, I got a couple snaps,
My
guys.
last name's on the jersey. All right, we're good.
All right, so Kyren, Etienne, Chase Brown.
Good,
What do you
Brian.
think?
Take this one.
I guess like in a redraft lens, Chase Brown's going to be my cut, just because the draft hasn't happened yet, and we can make the argument that maybe Jeremiah Love goes to 10 there. So that's the world I'm going to live in right now to make this easier. So let me trade Kyren. Let me keep Travis, and I'll cut Chase Brown.
I like that you're avoiding his last name specifically now.
Who, me and T-Rav? We're on a first name basis down here. You know, we split some beignets the other day, popping back some drink. It was great.
How can you pronounce beignets correctly, but you can't pronounce Achen right?
So
I got a different love for food than I do other men. You know, it's weird.
So Brian, you started that off with cut Chase Brown, and you might as well have slapped Dan across the face. Literally,
I saw the ricochet there.
You were like,
He's
cut
got-
Chase Brown. He was like, you know, like, so and big draft
It was
energy.
awesome.
Wait, what? Cutting Chase Brown? Love is going at 4. Dan, what's your thoughts? Why the slap to the face?
Well, my God, Chase Brown gets no freaking respect whatsoever. Good grief. I mean, the guy in 2024 had 228 points. In 2025, he had 246 points. Like, he's right there as far as RB1s are concerned. Everybody was, going crazy. Samaje Perine. And at the end of the year, what happened? Oh, we remembered. Samaje Perine sucks. Chase Brown's really explosive. And he got involved. And here we go. Travis Etienne, yes, he had a resurgence, but first of all, Liam Cohen should be going down as the running back whisperer. He had 13.9 points per game, and that was him making a rebound season to being relevant again. We thought Etienne was going to blast himself out of the league borderline before Liam Cohen even showed up there in Jacksonville. Now he's going to a Saints team. Yes, he got the big contract. Yes, he's going to get the volume. Yes, he'll be a top 24 running back, but good God, he's awful. There's no explosiveness to his game. And what carried him last year was the 13 touchdowns that he had. Well, guess what? You're not getting an opportunity on the Saints offense to score 13 touchdowns again. Meanwhile, Chase Brown is putting up top 12 numbers, and there was no Joe Burrow for most of the season, no T. Higgins for most of the season. Jamar Chase wasn't himself. You put all those things together, and you're talking about a top 5 offense with scoring opportunities. Yeah, there's no way Travis Etienne's not my cut here.
It is crazy the discourse like from this offseason to last offseason. If you recall, there was a lot of talk about it's a very deep running back class. Chase Brown had this like very heavy workload for the 2024 season. There's no way that he'll be able to do this again. You have to sell Chase Brown. You have to do all these things. And then the Bengals were like, let me just draft this very inefficient defensive player. And then they never got anybody on the running back side. I mean, they drafted
Taj Brooks in the 7th.
But but it just never amounted to anything. And now it's like, hey, like, yeah, you might have some staying power, actually. I love Chase Brown. I also love Etienne, whatever you want to call him. But
Travis.
For me, it was like, I was really into Alvin Kamara last year. If you look at what Kellen Moore does on offense, he runs a lot of plays. He is going to be north of 60 plays per game. And even if he doesn't get the workload of like the percentages, just the sheer volume of opportunity is going to be there like crazy. I think it all comes down to, are you a big mother shucker or what? Like if you are in on Tyler Shuck, you think that he can be the future, then you have to also be buying in on Etienne, whatever we're going to call it. So this one is, I feel like this is maybe one of the tougher ones of the night because I feel like there's a lot of upside on all sides of this. It's just which one do you pick? I struggle a lot. I think Kyren Williams is the bottom of the barrel for me, even though he may be in the best offense of the three.
I think it feels like we all said trade Kyren, basically.
Yeah, going off the basis of like, yeah, I think he is in the best offense of the three, and like I think the value would be higher than him just because I think it's skeptical. Chase Brown, if we're doing this conversation in exactly a month, it's completely different where I could feel with Chase Brown. And I'm kind of cheating saying I'm putting Jeremiah Love there in this conversation because Chase Brown, I liked him in 2025. He was one of my heavily owned players that I had in my league, so it was hard for the first month, but like I believe that, but it's just he's going into a contract year. So I think this draft is going to be very telling of, are we moving on or are we going to end up extending him? So if they don't do anything to replace him here in the first few rounds, I think it's an extension's imminent, but it's also the Bengals. They drag their feet and they're cheap as hell. So who knows?
I don't know how the Bengals don't address defense.
That's where I'm at, Tyler.
Why? Why would we want to? No one wants this. Maybe Bengals fans, but like 31 other teams and fantasy players allowed don't want them to address defense.
Their best linebacker retires. Like to let their defensive exactly.
Jamar Stewart is doing exactly what we want on the Bengals.
All right. Okay, so appreciate it, guys. Here we go. This is going to be our lightning round, and we've only got like 3 to 4 minutes here. Okay? If you're in the chat, this is how this works. You drop in a name of a player. Okay? You drop in a name of the player, and then we say whether we keep, trade, or cut that player. No context of like 3 different options. If the player's a keep, if they're a trade, or if they're a cut. Okay? Got it?
Go.
All right.
Oprah Winfrey, Martha Stewart.
No, it's just one player. So drop people in the chat if you've got one. Let's see. The first one is Jonathan Brooks.
Cut.
Trade.
Keep.
Okay, that doesn't help.
I did it on purpose.
Yeah. So Joe, Dan, you're pretty much completely out.
Yeah. I have better knees than him. Like, let's just talk about that.
Okay. So two are out pretty much. Brian says keep. Brian, why do you keep him? Do you think he's the truth?
For the right price, why not? They just added a running back actually today or yesterday. Nobody. So it is going to be Chuba Hubbard and Jonathan Brooks. They spent decent capital on him. They're going to find out if he's good or not. I'm coming out of a handful of dynasty leagues where I did the productive struggle. I need to add running backs. I need to add running backs cheap. This is a guy, if I can get him for a late second, early third, or a combination, a couple thirds or something like that, I'm shooting the shot. I'm looking for upside in running back, and I think that's what you can get here with this one at the right price.
If you're willing to give me capital, I'll give it to you, Brian.
All right.
Sure.
Wandale Robinson.
Trade. Absolutely. Trade.
Cut.
Don't do that. You gotta get somebody's gotta. We can't spin.
I'll trade. I'll side with Dan here.
All right. So trade Wandale. If you're trading Wandale, give me just one example of like what you're going for as far or like what's enough value.
Right now, consensus is 207. I'm fine with that.
Okay. I don't think that draft pick is real, so like I will keep the player that actually could do something.
All right, Joe.
Hence why I cut.
Michael Pittman.
Cut.
You don't got any people in Pittsburgh.
Trade.
I'm keeping.
There we did it again.
Trade is also fine. Trade is acceptable.
I can't cut him. He's coming off. I mean, he's been fine in Indianapolis with nothing throwing the football.
Even in Pittsburgh, I can tell you that right now. He will be
we don't throw.
Does that matter? That's my question.
Mike McCarthy's going to throw it a hell of a lot more than Arthur Smith did, bud.
All right. Michael Wilson off a big season.
Trade.
Yeah, trade. Absolutely.
Trade. You guys aren't fun.
I feel like we're super fun, actually.
Matthias has said, I'm just here to support the cause because this is all useless for me. Appreciate
you being here, buddy.
Hit that like button for us, homie.
I need Matthiasen to be more angry right now because
he gets fun during the waiver wire weeks.
He's a rowdy little rascal.
Yeah.
All right. Xavier Worthy.
Cut.
Trade.
I can't do it. Cut.
I mean, I will trade on the hype that he's a burner. I think everybody's waiting him to be JMO.
He has decent value. He's still young. He's still on an offense with Patrick Mahomes. Like somebody will give you something decent for Xavier Worthy.
That's wild.
All right, Isaiah Likely.
Trade.
Cut.
Keep.
Of course you would, Brian. Of course you would.
So, Brian, let me ask you this. You don't believe that Theo Johnson has any shot after how he played last year, after how Dart liked him in the red zone? You don't think he has any shot?
Whoa. He was a dynasty buy for me the first week of January. I was all over some Theo Johnson. I've got too many shares of Theo Johnson.
But you want to keep Likely.
Did you not see the trend? I had to. But also, we're coming in. We got Harbaugh coming to town. He has no allegiance to Theo Johnson. Theo Johnson, I guess he's coming to year 3, so it's not like this will be the last year with him. But, he has no allegiance there. We're seeing more and more 12 and 13 personnel run. So, we could see both of these guys get in the mix and just be absolutely pissed with both of them. So, ultimately, Isaiah Likely is going to be around tight end 12 for me. He's not going to be a drafted tight end for me. It's usually the top 8 to 6 that actually are worth drafting, and the rest are just waiver wire guys. So, end of the day, I think that's truly where this discussion is for me.
All right, Rondé Gadsden.
Keep.
Trade.
Keep. And if you're trading, maybe you think the value's there. All right, last one, and probably one of the this is it. No more after this. We're shutting it down on this one because it is controversial. Super flex. Shedeur Sanders.
Is he even going to start this year?
No, Deshaun Watson is for 4 weeks before he ruptures something else.
Look,
I'm just trying to get Shedeur Sanders at my Kentucky Derby party in May. That's all that I want. Which, if you're in the Cleveland area, come through.
Shedeur Sanders, cut what?
Cutting.
Cut.
Can you cut something you never had? Yeah, cut.
Yes.
I am going to trade because it is super flex. And weirdly enough, the guy has garnered enough love from people that realistically, even though he shouldn't, he has value. Somebody out there will give you a second-round pick for Shedeur Sanders.
And that's why you work in sales and we don't.
Yeah, because
I got a fourth for Phillip Rivers last year, so you never know. Teams are just
somebody out there is somebody in your league's going, y'all sleeping on Shedeur. Y'all sleeping on. I'm telling you, he gonna go off this year. Y'all sleeping on Shedeur, and so that person, you need to go ask them for their second-round pick and rock out.
If that's the case, fantastic. But just not knowing who the other two names would be in a keep trade cut scenario, there's nowhere the other two names are not more valuable than Shedeur Sanders. So that's why I say that.
No,
yeah, you could say Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, Shedeur Sanders, and I'd be like, cut Shedeur.
Tom said something the other day in an interview. He talked about coming back, and NFL didn't that. So,
well, anyways, appreciate y'all tuning in tonight from the forum. We're here every Friday, 9:00 Central. Good luck. Enjoy these last few or this next round of NCAA basketball, and we'll see you next week for a good time.
Peace.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com.